Hi Susan, it's great to see you today. How are you doing?
Doing fine.
How's Ariana?
She's doing good. We're just getting ready to start this new process.
Yeah, so how are y'all feeling about this process? Is she coming around to it, or does she still doesn't know?
Well, like I said in our last session, she's really opening her eyes up more to it. So I'm thankful for that because I wasn't sure. This is the first for everything. It's the first for all of us, for both of us. So I was just nervous that she would just completely shut off and just not rebellious, but just be hard-shelled, which would be even harder because I understand where she's coming from.
Right, it is understandable. It's going to be difficult for both of you, I'm sure, because all of this is new.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a process just to get through the paperwork and getting your assistants in place, such as that. So, and for her, for the after-school care, getting her adjusted to a whole nother routine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Right. So that's just going to be little things. It's going to change, and I'm sure y'all will be able to just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be there to help ease y'all along and make it easier for you.
Okay. Thank you.
So today I wanted to talk about certain options of assistance that may be available to you in after-school care for Ariana, and just try to get some decisions made on which direction you want to go with your financial assistance options.
Okay.
And see if we can start getting applications and stuff done with our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you feel comfortable with that?
I think so. I think that we've done a lot of setting it up, and so I feel like that. I'm glad that you took me. I'm glad that we did it like that, so that it wasn't for me too just thrown into something.
Right.
I've known well in advance of what the processes is going to be and stuff.
Yes.
So I think I'm ready.
Okay, well, great. So first, I'd like to talk about after-school care with Ariana, since that is the whole reason why you're here. Is her academics have been getting behind a little since her father's death, and so some things that I had found was her school actually does offer after-school care and tutoring.
Right.
At her school, older students will tutor to get volunteer hours. And so they're not just any volunteers. They have really good grades in their classes. So, she'll be learning the right stuff for her classes.
Yeah.
And so it happens for an hour after she gets out of school.
Is this every day?
Right.
Okay.
It's Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Okay.
So it's only 3 days a week, but they don't have buses running afterwards.
Okay.
So if you're at work, the one thing we would have to really decide on is how she would get home and get home safely. So I was wondering, you mentioned last week that you're really close with your parents and that they still like to help with Ariana, and that Ariana is really close to them and misses being with them.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if maybe they would be willing to pick her up on those days and take her home, or maybe spend time with her. Maybe you could pick her up from their house, something like that.
Well, that's definitely an option. I'm glad that I have that, just in case, I still do have to work a lot, which hopefully I probably will.
Well, this is just temporary until your financial assistance comes through. We're going to look at those options, but even once you do the applications, it'll still take up to 2 to 3 weeks before they really start coming in and actually helping you.
Yeah.
So this would be temporary for your parents to have to step in and help if that's an option, if they're willing.
Okay.
If not, then maybe we could look at other options of maybe you said she had close friends at school where their parents, you trust their parents to get her home or to take her to their home. So,
until I can get there or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, I can ask my parents, because speaking of my parents, they were just asking me. At the beginning of all of this, I just mentioned that we had been referred by her teacher. I had just filled them in on Ariana's grades and everything, and so the other day they asked me just how it was going, and I wasn't. I told them that we were more in the beginning. Like, I really didn't know what to tell them, and so I'm glad now that I can actually ask for their help more. They were helping me before, but now I know something specific I can ask them to help me with.
And are they retired?
Yes.
Okay, so we wouldn't have to worry about them getting off work.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so, and they did mention that they'd be willing if it
Yes,
was needed?
yes. On the day, you know, they said they could take turns,
Right.
but you know, it's not going to be just a huge chore for either of them. You know, it's just whoever
Right.
is not busy at the house and can come.
Well, that's great. So, let's say for between this meeting and next week's, you get Ariana signed up with the after school program, or have your parents sign her up at the after school program and get them on the list to pick her up because they have to be on the list for security reasons. So you're going to have copies of their driver's license either way, just for them to be able to pick her up. And so that would be a great option for Ariana. She'd be able to get tutored. She'd have more social time because it's not just tutoring. They do activities as well, and they do get some playtime afterwards.
Okay.
So it's not for at-risk students, which we really don't think Ariana is at risk.
Mm-hmm.
She's just going through the grieving process, and it's time to start processing her feelings and processing what she's going to start doing about it.
Well, that's good for me to know, so that like she won't be like picked on or anything for going to.
No. It's really it really helps parents who have to work hours later than school hours.
Yeah.
So that's really what that is. But they do offer tutoring for students who need it or want it.
Right.
Or if they are doing their homework while they're in the after-school care, they can have that extra help to get their homework done.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yes.
Because that's something I was, like I mentioned, I just hate not knowing if she's not knowing how to do something and I'm not there to help her.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. This will just to get her caught back up and to get her more time to be around kids her age and not stuck in the house like you mentioned. And
that's a good thing all around for her social and academic.
Right. I thought that was the best program. Now there is other programs like Boys and Girls Club or Leapfrog, but I really don't feel like that's where she needs to be because her grades really aren't that bad.
Yeah.
And she's not. She grasps the concepts of her schoolwork. It's just
she can't really focus.
She just doesn't want to focus on it. Right. She's grieving, so she's focused on how she's feeling, how she's hurting.
Right.
So just getting her that social time, being with kids, when she's in school, they don't have that much social time. They have a 15-minute recess and that's it.
Yeah.
So she needs that extra time. I think that would help her the most.
Okay.
So that would be great if you could get your parents on board with that this week and go ahead and get that started and get her in that. Okay. And so we can speed that process along faster. And then, like I said, we'll start talking about financial assistance for you so that you can get home more and you won't have to work so much.
How long are the after school meetings? Like I know that they get out of school at like 3:05. How
right.
Like if I am able to pick her up on a day, what time?
So it lasts till 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in an hour. Good.
Right. So they want you to start picking up no later than 4:30, but no sooner than 5:20. Okay.
Gotcha.
So that would be a good thing. So if you are able to pick her up, or if you're off one afternoon, that would definitely be an option.
Yeah, because I think that would be awesome to just be able to like be there waiting on her when she gets out, and maybe have like some like snacks or something.
Yeah, and it doesn't last too late to where it just takes up her whole afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an option.
We still go home and cook supper.
Okay. So for financial assistance, you have a few options. There's an SSI program for widows and dependent children.
Okay.
So however much, it's based on your husband's Social Security. And so however much he contributed during his working time, it'll be proportionate to that. It'll be a percentage of that you would get monthly. And oftentimes, widows and dependent children tend to get more than other people who draw it for other reasons. So it would help you a lot to just, honestly, it may make up for what you don't make at a second job.
Oh.
So you might be able to quit that second job, but I can't tell you the rates of what it would be because they would have to look up your husband's Social Security to see.
Okay.
So that's something you're going to have to go to the Social Security office and check out. So you would have to do the application there, and they would look it all up and get it ready and see what your rate would be and see if that's something that you could be able to afford to quit your second job and receive or not.
It just makes me sad. Well, obviously, grieving and stuff. Just thinking about him and his job because he loved it and he was really good at it. And so when you said based on how much he made, he had a very good job and he was good at it. So he was in a higher, he made more. And so
maybe this really will be very beneficial to you.
And he probably, he knew obviously that he helped out with working, having such a, being so successful in his job, but we just never thought it would be like, come to this, be like where the most, how much he made is still benefiting.
Yes.
Like kind of thing. So
it's still taking care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel better.
I'm glad. So, are you comfortable with drawing on his Social Security, or?
I think at this point, with to know, like, for Ariana's sake and for my sake, just so I would have more time. It just goes back to what they love to do together with sports, so she can get more focused on school, so that I will, feel better about signing her up for something. So because if she was still slacking, I wouldn't. Not slacking. If she was still, falling behind, I wouldn't want to take any more of her attention off of her schoolwork by doing sports. So now, just all around, it just is going to help because I'll have more time, and she can, I can have more time to go get her, and we can, work on homework. But plus the after school care, and then whenever, sports season come around, I can sign her up. So I think that he would be very okay with us doing that.
Good deal. And they'll be able to explain to you more about the policy of how long it would last. And I know for Ariana it would last until she was 18 or 21. But for you, if you were to get a higher paying job and you exceeded their income limit, I think that's when they would remove your portion of it. I'm not for sure. So they would explain that more in detail of how all of that works for their office.
Okay.
Another option, if your gross income is at or below 1,726, you would qualify for food stamps or SNAP benefits.
Okay.
So that would help with groceries, just to subset some of that cost off of you,
right,
and help you. You could take that from your budget and put it somewhere else where it's needed.
Okay.
So I know joining sports teams is a bit expensive.
Yeah.
Paying for the uniforms and the equipment and stuff. So maybe that would help there.
Yes.
So that would be a good thing. So do you have any more questions?
I think that all of our meetings have led up to this, and you've explained it so clearly to me, so I understand.
Great.
So my assignment for next session.
So for this week, I would want you to get with your parents and get after school care in place and planned for Ariana and get her started. I'd like to see her get started in that within the next week or so.
Okay.
So we can get that going as soon as possible so she doesn't get any further behind.
Okay.
And to get those applications done for SSI and for SNAP benefits. And if you don't feel comfortable doing those applications by yourself, you're more than welcome to bring them here to your next meeting and we can fill them out together.
Okay, I may do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I may do
if that would make you more comfortable, you're more than welcome to do that and we can get that done. So if you're comfortable with all of this, then that's all I have for today. You're feeling good?
Yeah, I think that it feels, if I feel better about it with as much as I can feel better right now with, the situation.
That's great.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Well, I will see you next week then.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.